Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, indeed, Nick Foles. Thank you once again, my hype man. Let's make some noise on this Labor Day 2025. We got an interesting Phillies game to dive into. Come from behind win, 10-8. We'll talk some umpires, some questionable umpiring again. It's Dallas week. Does anybody care? Does anybody really? I mean, no. I think it's a waste, honestly. It could have been a lot better week one opponents for the Eagles, but we're here. Football, the NFL is upon us. Dive into that. Got your day in Philadelphia sports history. We got your of the night segment, and we got your card review. All those fun things you come to expect from the final word with MattyB on the It's a Wrap Sports Network Labor Day edition. Good evening, everybody. I hope your weekend and your Labor Day was fun, satisfying for all those out there who labor. It is your day, and I hope you enjoyed your day. As tomorrow, you all go back to work. I say you all because I don't have a day job. Well, I do. I kind of have a day job, but I'm semi-retired. I earned my stripes, literally. So I hope you guys enjoyed your Labor Day. And as we turn the page on summer, I mean, good God, I'm a firm believer that today, even though actually I think the first day of fall is not till later on this month. I mean, it's September. It's September 1st. And today, in my humble perspective, summer is over. Tomorrow is the first day of fall for me. I move on quickly. And no more beaches and pools and freaking baseball, man. I mean, we got final month of the regular season. But we turn the page to the fall, which is my favorite time of the year, and football, hockey, basketball. All that's going to get started here very soon. Football, of course, first in the shoot on Thursday night. So how are you feeling on this last day of MattyB's summer? It's good to see you guys here tonight again. Back on Monday night, we did not do, of course, last night due to some I had post-game duties, so I could not do a show last night. And, was not going to come on, do a show right 10 minutes after I do a post-game show. So tonight we're here, but we should be coming at you with everything every night this week. And to include, I am toying with Thursday. I really am. I don't know if I want to come on after Eagles postgame or before Eagles postgame. I'm toying with the idea, but I think we're going to do a show Thursday night. It might not be until 1 a.m., but I think we're going to do a show Thursday night. I'm toying with that idea. So I'll update as we move through the week. So welcome one and all. Thank you, Matty. For what, Ryan? For wishing you a happy Labor Day? You are live. Oh, yeah. I was never going to not be live, Ryan. Make some news, MattyB. What news am I going to make? What am I going to make? Basketball, haha, NBA is a joke. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to look at it. Yeah, I get it, man. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in this town that's interested nor excited nor cares that the Sixers are about, 3 weeks away from the start of their camp and what have you. I don't even know. Do they start in September or do they start in October with camp? I know their season starts, I think, at the end of October, but yeah, I don't care either, Ryan. I haven't cared about the Sixers in about, I don't know, a lot of years. I think Allen Iverson was still playing for the Sixers. And I guess one cool thing about the Sixers, and this is probably about the best thing the one and only thing I'll say about them for the next 9 months. They're going back to the old school, or I shouldn't say old school. They're going back to the Iverson era uniforms this year. They're going back to the black ones with that Sixers thing written across the front. They're going back to that. That's verified. So that's a step in the right direction. Now, whether or not that's enough to, win them a championship, which it isn't, at least they'll be styling out there as they're losing 45, 50 games, at least they'll be styling. But yeah, I mean, I got to give basketball its due because it's going to happen. And, I have not decided whether or not we're going to cover the Sixers yet this year. I know there's member of this network that wants to do a Sixers post-game show, and I envy that, but I don't know, man. I probably will let him do it, but I ain't going to watch it. Sad. Just saying, man. I don't really care, but tonight we got a jam-packed episode, Ryan, and everybody else that might be tuned in. And make sure you like, share, subscribe this channel out to your friends, family, and coworkers. We definitely need your help, or I should say your support, not your help. We're coming up on a year on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. October 7th will be our 1-year birthday here on the network. I launched this network on October 7th, 2024 with this show. So the show will celebrate a year, and so will the network on October 7th. So cannot be more thrilled about how we've grown in that time. And please keep helping us out. But tonight we got to get into the business at hand, and that's your Phillies, that's your Eagles. We are going to talk some Flyers because we're going to do the of the night segment. We're going to do those things and get it going. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into this thing. So before I start, let me remind you that with this week being the first week of fall in my mind, which is a strange, wonderful place to be, we got a couple of things that are going to be dropping like it's hot here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network this week. Returning for season 6 tomorrow night. No baseball, no problem. You got the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn making its return tomorrow night at 7. Me and Kyle, it's the quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment. We'll be coming at you once a week between now and I hope, sometimes around Valentine's Day. Previewing the upcoming Eagle game, looking back at the game that preceded that one, and putting our little spin on things as we do. A little extras too that are going to be inside the show. You'll have to wait and see. We're doing season 6. I don't know. It's not new to us. It might be new to some of you guys, but please make sure you're tuned in. WIP's Kyle Quinn graciously gives of his time through the entire football season. So looking forward to getting things going again with Kyle tomorrow night at 7 for our NFL extravaganza show. This is the show where we not only break down Eagles boys, but we'll also talk NFL. We're going to break it down, man. We're going to break it all the way down. We'll give you our division winners, our division last place teams, our wild card teams, our conference championship matchups, our Super Bowl matchup, and yes, our Super Bowl 60 champion predictions. So if you want to know where I come out on the Eagles in 2025, I highly recommend you watch tomorrow night. You may be surprised. You may not be. You probably won't be. It's no surprise coming tomorrow. But make sure you check out me and Kyle tomorrow. And then every week preceding that or following that, as we will break down all the Eagles action for the remainder of the season. Also dropping this week, returning for season 2, is the Birds Flyby, the official Eagles postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. After every Eagles game, starting with this one, join the Birds Flyby crew, which is Steve Fuentes right now. Steve will be joined by rotating co-hosts throughout the season. You may even see me popping on one or two of these shows throughout the year. And we'll break down the game that was. We'll break down the latest. We'll have your instant reactions and analysis of the Eagles game. And, of course, the big one, the big one, season premiere or season starting game. Jesus Christ, I'm all confused. Eagles-Cowboys Thursday night. It's Dallas week, one of our topics tonight. And you really couldn't tell me anything different. I don't feel anything different, but the Birds Flyby will make its return this week. And then premiering completely like network world premiere event, the Props, Locks, and Parlay program with Mike Laro, Wednesdays at 7, as Mike will give you his props, his locks, and his parlays, football related, NCAA and NFL, for entertainment purposes only, of course. Mike will be rocking this thing all the way up to about the Super Bowl, probably the week before the Super Bowl. So make sure you join Mike as he sets off on his magical journey on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, when the clock goes double O, make sure you're back with Mike on the Happy Valley Huddle. Mike will break down Penn State and FIU, Florida International University, the Panthers. as we go from the Wolfpack to the Panthers, and next week we go to the Wildcats. It's Villanova is playing Penn State next week. But Mike Laro did a great job with the Nevada one. And he'll take you through the Penn State season. Hopefully that ends in sometime in early January with a trip to the BCS championship game. And then all the other programs that you've come to love here on the network, to include your PM in the AM on Sundays at 9, your wraparound every Friday at 10:30, your, of course, Final Word with MattyB every Sunday through Thursday at 10, and the Attacking Third, normally Thursdays at 9. There will not be an Attacking Third. I have not informed the host yet, but I'm making a command decision for obvious reasons. We're not gonna come out and try to jam out an Attacking Third just as the game is kicking off from South Philadelphia. So we'll put Attacking Third in the dry dock. Maybe we'll switch it to Wednesday night. We'll see. I'll communicate with Steve at some point, probably tomorrow, and find out what he wants to do. But I'm going to tell you that it will not be seen this Thursday at 9. I can tell you that with 100% guarantee. So, but whatever you're looking for here in sports entertainment, Philadelphia sports entertainment, and another big potential news nugget dropping here on the network. I got a meeting on Wednesday with some folk. We may be bringing in another show. I'm not going to get you all excited about it, but it's kind of playing off of something that was supposed to happen that didn't happen, and we're sort of kind of reconvening with a different direction of that original idea. So we're going to have a meeting on Wednesday, me and the people involved in that, and more news will be forthcoming as the It's a Wrap Sports Network might be spreading its wings a little bit starting this week with a new show with a whole bunch of new people. So be on the lookout for that. Well, I'll drop the news as soon as it becomes official. I promise. That'll happen on Wednesday evening at some point. So I think we're doing a meeting at 6. I don't know, man. Pat's in charge of the meeting, so I can't tell you when. He said Wednesday. He wasn't sure. He didn't say what Wednesday. He said Wednesday. So I'll get more information from him. Hey, everybody. Hey, Joe, what's going on? So is Attacking Third coming on Wednesday? I don't know yet. I got to talk to Steve, and we'll figure something out. If Steve, listen, tomorrow's an open night, and I know Steve doesn't work or he's home on Tuesday nights, I think. So, that might be a good night to throw it on. I'm not saying we can't do it, and I'm not saying I don't want to do it. It's just that we're not going to do it on Thursday. So I'll get with Steve and find out, Joe, when he wants to do it. Pittsburgh. I bet it's the Pittsburgh sports guys. It's not the Pittsburgh sports guys. All right. It's not that. It's not that. You might be on the right track, sort of, but it's not them guys. So we'll get more information on Wednesday night, but it's all good, man. It's all good in the proverbial hood, as they say. As we're gonna hopefully, touch a different audience, and that's what I need to do. I need to spread myself out, man. I need to leave the confines of the city limits of Philadelphia. I need to be international. I got to get MattyB out there, man. Out there to the world. That's where I belong. That's where I belong. So more to follow on that Wednesday, I promise. All right, so let's get strapped on, strapped in, strapped up, and let's go. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And let's start with our day in Philadelphia sports history. All the way back to the year 1991, September 1st. I'm going to try to see the knowledge of the assembled here. I want you guys to think about September 1st, 1991, and then I'll give you another hint. It's Eagles related. Somebody tell me what significantly happened on this date back on September 1st, 1991. That was catastrophic, very catastrophic to the Eagles. Again, I'm giving you like 75% of the answer here. And I'll wait about 5 seconds for anyone to drop their information into the chat before I reveal it. I remember this day vividly. I remember where I was. I remember what I was doing. And I remember what my initial reaction was when this news broke on this day back in 1991. Joe Hale says, was it the Fog Bowl? No, The Fog Bowl was in January of 1989, and it was in the playoffs. Not September 1st, 1991. Same, not even the same head coach. This was a different head coach. Think about it, Joe. September. What is significant in September with football? It's, again, I'll give you another piece of the puzzle. It's the start of the season, right? So on this day, September 1st, 1991, the Eagles began their season. That's all I'm giving you. What happened? Catastrophic. On this day, 1991, Eagles related when they started their season. Get the big clock counting down, and it has gone 0. Why am I doing that? Hey, Mickey, what's going on? So on this date, I was an 18-year-old buck private in the United States Army. I was about a month. I had just graduated basic training. I was about 2 weeks into my AIT, getting ready, learning my skill, right? And we were allowed at this point of the training to actually have Sundays off and go downstairs and watch football. And this game happened to be on. I don't know. I was in Oklahoma. I don't know how this game was on, but Eagles Packers, September 1st, 1991. Now, if you recall the 1991 season, this was the season that it was supposed to come all together. We had a stout defense, right? This was the first year post Buddy Ryan. This was Rich Kotite's first year in the seat as coach of the Eagles. There were some Super Bowl expectations, to say the least, put on the heels of the Eagles heading in. They were one of the favorites. They were the favorite coming into the 91 season to win the Super Bowl. And in the second quarter of this game in Green Bay against the Packers, something catastrophic happened that affected the entire season. And that was, of course, the loss of quarterback Randall Cunningham to multiple torn ligaments in his left knee. I think initially everyone thought he had broke his leg. And again, I remember the play. I'll never forget the play. Now, as the 91 season would sort of unfold, the Eagles would herd in a record. I think it was a Philadelphia Eagle record at that time. 5 different starting quarterbacks would be behind center for the Eagles in 1991. Some notable names: Brad Gable, number 8. You guys remember Brad Gable? Pat Ryan, the ageless wonder picked up from the Jets that offseason. And Jim McMahon, who the Eagles picked up as a free agent after the Chargers released him at the end of the 1990 season. Now, Jim McMahon would actually be the right. I'm telling you, if McMahon could have stayed upright and healthy, because he was in and out of the lineup all year, I think they might have actually, I'm not saying they would have gone on and win the Super Bowl, but they would have had a better overall chance at winning, right? They finished the season 10-6. I don't know if they made the playoffs that year, did they? I think they did. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they made the playoffs that year, but they were 10-6. I think they did. Yeah, they made the playoffs in 91. They were 10-6. Or wait, did they lose out the playoffs in the final game of the year? I think they did. I think mathematically they did not make the playoffs in 91. Yeah. Anyway, they ended up having the league's number 1 overall defense. Both won number 1 in the pass, 1 in the run. Sent 5 all-pro players off that defense. First team all-pro. 5 defensive players from the Eagles made the 91 all-pro team. Jim McMahon would go on and win comeback player of the year, even though, as I said, he was in and out of the lineup all season because he couldn't stay healthy. But ultimately, the Eagles missed the mark and did not win the Super Bowl that year. And it was, as I said, a gut punch to be a gut punch on week 1, second quarter, to lose the franchise, essentially, in Randall Cunningham. Now, if you guys remember, the big thing heading into the 92 season was the T-shirts. I still have mine somewhere. The Randall Cunningham, I'll be back scrambling in 92. I have that shirt laying around somewhere. But that season was mired with an off-season tragedy with the death of Jerome Brown. And the Eagles just could not get away from those specters of those just bad things happening to them. And of course, no Super Bowls were yielded during that time. But in 91, it was at an all, you got to, again, where we came from, coming out of Buddy, things were rounding into form. Everybody thought at the time Rich Kotite was going to be the stabilizing force because he actually cared about offense. He was also our offensive coordinator at that time as well. He was dual rolled as the head coach and offensive coordinator. Now, Kotite might go down as one of the worst head coaches in the history of the Eagles. He's on my top 3. But people thought that Kotite's offensive mind, stabilizing presence, was the thing missing with Buddy Ryan's bombastic behavior and doesn't care about the offense and all he cared about was defense. Buddy had built the defense. Kotite now was going to round the offense into form. And all indicators were that the Eagles were going to make a deep Super Bowl run in 1991. And that all ended in the second quarter against the Packers on this day back in 1991. The loss of Randall Cunningham. Remember it like it was yesterday. 18 years old, whole life ahead of me. And there's my quarterback riling on the ground of Lambeau Field in the second quarter of week 1. Yeah, can't write that. You just can't make that type of stuff up. So there you have it. That's your day in Philadelphia sports history. The loss of Randall Cunningham. Nobody got that, man. Really? You guys call yourselves Eagles fans? Jeez Louise. All right. So I would have given out a special prize too for those that would have gotten it. And if anybody would have gotten that, I would have given out a special prize. The infamous 8x10 glossy of me going like this. All right, let's move on to our first topic of the night. Let's readdress it. Mike Laro had you covered earlier tonight on the Fightins Final. The Phillies, hey man, a character win against a very good Milwaukee Brewer team. Actually, a very entertaining baseball game. 18 runs scored, back and forth, lead changes. Brewers blow the lead, Phillies pull ahead. They blow the lead, tied. Phillies pull ahead. They blow the lead, tied, and then they move ahead and win it late 10-8. Not a pitching battle, which honestly, I was getting kind of sick of those, especially watching the weekend series against the Braves. I needed some offense, and the Eagles. The Phillies provided that offense today. Notables of the game today was Trey Turner once again with a 2-hit day. Also a costly hit that should have been a friggin' error. I don't know who's scoring, and again, I've been on the scores all season. Of the liberal nature of the way they score errors versus hits. I know the ball changed direction a little bit coming off the mound, but good night. That was an error. He should have made that play. But they gave him a hit. Brandon Marsh, the huge day, 4 hits. As Brandon Marsh is making Jack Fritz's prognostication that we don't need Justin Crawford because we have enough right now in center field. He's making that true. Big time day. And then Harrison Bader as well with a 3-hit day, and a couple 3 RBIs. So we can look at this game of many different ways. Obviously, we'll attack the pitching. Taijuan Walker was getting shellacked out there. There's nothing else to say about it. 4 putrid innings, 85 pitches, 7 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned, 2 walks and lousy 2 strikeouts, and he gave up 2 home runs. Taijuan Walker was throwing batting practice. I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to pray to God that he can get them to the 5th inning. He didn't quite make it that far, but it was bad. I mean, it was bad. Again, it puts all the stuff into focus about the $18 million a year for this quality of pitcher. Not one of Dave Dombrowski's banner moments or one of his more memorable free agent signings. Memorable for the wrong reasons, but Taijuan Walker was throwing batting practice and the Brewers were all over him. Yes, Joe Hale, Walker did struggle horribly today. But to the Phillies' credit, they would not be denied. Even getting down 4-1. They battled into a 4-2. Then it was 5-2. Then it was 5-4. Then the Phillies went ahead. But then the Brewers came back. And then in the 9th inning, the Phillies had a big 2-run 9th inning to pull out the win 10-8. Now, course, the game is mired in some controversy. We got umpires once again front and center with yet another questionable call. Thoughts on the check swing? You read my mind, Joe Hale. Check swing by JT Realmuto, called a non-swing. Obviously, the ball was in the dirt, so it was called a non-swing. It was a 3-2 pitch, so that kept the inning moving. It gave the Phillies life. And yes, I have not watched Brewer media at all, or Milwaukee media. Is there such a thing? I don't know what they do there in Milwaukee, but I'm sure it's the topic of the night. How the umpire threw the call. The Brewer manager got ejected after saying that this was the second one that the umpire missed. And I don't hear the Phillies fans out there. Where are you at there tonight, Phillies fans? Because I remember a very interesting situation not too long ago that did not go in the Phillies' favor, and check swing wise. And we wanted to hang up the umpires by their, you know what? Where are you tonight? I want to hear the unbiased Philly homer fans attacking the umpire for a bad call. And I haven't heard anything. Now, here's what I'll say. Once again, the check swing appeal rule was applied correctly. It's a judgment call. First base umpire said he did not swing. I'm here to tell you, you're lucky I wasn't on first base. I would have, JT was out. That was a swing. Oh, yeah. That was a swing. So JT got lucky. Phillies got lucky. But the problem is, it's a judgment call. So what I think is a swing is different than what you might think is a swing. And that's the problem. Well, not the problem, but that's what the rule is. And to sit there and say, oh, you got two of them wrong, it's ridiculous. Because he properly applied the rule and said, in his judgment, he swung. He swung. But I don't hear the Phillies fans up in arms about, oh, no, that was a swing. And you know it. I know it. Everybody out there knows it, except for the first base umpire who called it a non-swing. And that's all that really matters in this case. But I don't hear the Phillies fans wanting to hang the umpires in effigy. Nope. You got lucky, man. You really did, because you probably get 10 umpires, probably 9 of them call that a swing. I would have. Oh, yes, I would have. Because in my judgment, he was swinging. But the Phillies got lucky. But I don't hear the Phillies fans up in arms about bad umpiring when it goes in their favor. So if you're going to be out there and wanting to destroy the umpires, be consistent about it. Destroy them even when it works to your favor. If not, you sound like a bunch of Raven homers, man. And that's essentially what you are anyway. That's why I don't listen to any of the anti-umpire stuff, because it's so goddamn biased. It's not even funny. Where is the alarming? We got to get robo-ump. We got to get ABS. We got to change the rule. Where is that right now, Philadelphia? I want to hear it, because you're such experts on this subject. So where is the venom towards the umpire for blowing a call? Where is it? Now, again, as I said, I'm not saying he blew the call. I'm saying he applied the rule correctly. And that rule was a judgment, that he didn't swing in that umpire's judgment. In my judgment, he swung. And you know it as well as I do. But, of course, we don't matter. It's the umpire. But where is the acrimony? Where is the wrath? Where is the hang the umpires? We got to get rid of them. Where is that tonight? It's nowhere. Because you all are soft. You're soft. You're weak. You don't have a platform to stand on. You blow through the wind. I should be hearing the same stuff I heard last week about, we just got to get, what did Nooms say? It's an antiquated system. Where are you at tonight, Nooms? Let's hang the umpires, man. because they blew another call. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewer manager thought they blew it. Matter of fact, he thought he blew two of them. Where is the outrage from the Philadelphia fans about inconsistent umpiring? Deaf ears, man. That's where it's at. It's crickets. That's why y'all ain't ready for me. But anyway, the inning continued, and the Phillies blew it open for a 2-run inning. Now, people are going to sit here and say, well, that's the reason this game got out of hand from the Brewers. No. The reason why is that your relief pitcher couldn't get anybody out. That had nothing to do with that. But big time win, 80 wins now for the season. And the Philly magic number, that's right, I'm going to keep track of that now because that's what I do here. We are now at a magical 19 to clinch the National League East. That's right. 19 games. Combination of Phillies wins, Mets losses. When we get down to 0, 19 is the magic number for a successful division title defense of the National League East by the Fighting Phillies. Now, big time, all honesty, a big time bounce back win, a character win, a win where people were actually making contact with the bat, swinging the ball, hitting the ball, moving runners along. I saw multiple sacrifice flies in this game. I could not believe it. I had to write it down. I don't think I've seen the Phillies execute properly 2 sacrifice flies in one game all season. But today I saw it. And I'll take it, man. It produces a run. They got massive production not only from the bottom of the lineup, but from the middle part. I think they were in the middle 2 through 5 were like 8 for 22. That's about 330-ish of a batting average. A lot better than the 88 batting average they were sporting over the last 2 games against the Braves. And that Bader Marsh thing, that was working amazingly today. And I'm not sold on Brandon Marsh. It's not going to erase the memory of Logan O'Hoppe for me. I still think at the long run, we made a mistake there. Matter of fact, today I was sitting down, starting to work on my 2026 Phillies roster. And I was starting to delete certain names that, nope, you ain't coming back. Nope, you ain't coming back. Nope, you ain't coming back. Brandon Marsh, I moved him to the bench because I think he'll be back. There's no brainer that he'll be back because he's under team control and he's cheap. But he'll be platooning in center and left with Harrison Bader and Justin Crawford, just to give you a sneak peek of my 2026 Phillies roster, which we'll get into later on in the offseason. But you gotta give credit where credit's due here. They battled like champions today. They were down. They didn't let the pitching get them buried alive. They battled out of it. Their bullpen was, it was shoddy. Pitching in general in this game was terrible, both sides. But the Phillies did enough, both with their pitching and with their offense, and found a way to win. And this is a good news win. It is. 80 wins now on the season. Magic number is 19, as I just put the little Purdy graphic up. Does it change my opinion about this team? I got to see it more than once, right? No. But here's an interesting stat line, too. You go from, what was it the other night? They scored 14 against the, or 19. Then it was what? 2, 2, 1, 2, and then today 10. What is that? Why can't we balance this out a little bit? What's wrong with scoring 6, 4, 5 runs a game? And just keep it nice and balanced. I don't need to score 19 runs and then 5 games later score 10. And in between score about 5. That's really what this to me comes down to. It's just the inconsistencies. So yeah, I'm going to pull a lot of positives. I mean, and I'm going to go down the old Big Al's excuse emporium on this. There could have been a lot of excuses thrown at this game. I think the team didn't get into Milwaukee last night till about 3 a.m. They played the national game last night. Probably didn't fly out of Philadelphia till after midnight. Got into Milwaukee about 1 a.m. with the time change of their time. By the time they got settled in, it was probably around 3 a.m. A 4 o'clock start or a 3 o'clock at their place. So they had to be at the ballpark by like 11. You know, there could have been a lot of excuses thrown at this game of why they got blown out, or B, why they didn't come back and win. But they did not do that. They did not roll over. They battled, man. And Harrison Bader, Trey Turner, even though that hit that should have been an error, that was an error in any book, at any league, at any level, that's an error, but not in MLB in 2025 with these people that are keeping score now. But they battled back. And they continuously battled back throughout this game to a very impressive win over a very good Milwaukee Brewer team. A team that, yes, they may run into at some point later down the line. So applause, golf clap, whatever, to the Phillies for fighting like a champion today. And it's September. Maybe we're changing over. Maybe this is it. Maybe we got out of, maybe it was the summer. Maybe that was the problem. Now that we're moving into the fall, maybe we're going to see this team. Again, I'm judging all this after one game. But who knows? Maybe that was the secret to unlock all this, was the fall. They had an outstanding August, though. 18-11, their best month of production since May. And they follow that up with a 1-0 start to September. So hats off to the Phillies. Hats off to Brandon Marsh, Harrison Bader, Trey Turner, except for his damn error, and Bryson Stott, except for his damn error. But hats off to them. Is there some concern about the pitching? I maintain there is not. Taijuan Walker is Taijuan Walker. It's your guess is as good as mine of what you're going to get from him on a every 5-day basis. You know, you got Walker Buehler now in the mix. You know, they brought the kid in from that Pittsburgh dropped. He pitched today, the reliever. The roster's expanding. Garrett Stubbs, for some odd reason, is back on this baseball team. Can anybody explain to me why we need a third catcher? I know what Dave Dombrowski said. It gives Rob Thompson the ability to potentially use JT as a pinch hitter. But is there really any reason why we have Garrett Stubbs on this baseball team? Again, it's almost like now it's getting comical why they won't call Justin Crawford up. This would have been one of the perfect opportunities. Or Gabriel Cones, or friggin' Otto Kemp, somebody. But what the hell is Garrett Stubbs doing here? I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. You know, I get it. We're not blowing it out to 40. There's just 2 spots you can add. But, geez Louise, guys, do we really need Garrett Stubbs back? I'll take my chances of not using JT as a pinch hitter if I can get another fielder in the damn mix. What is the deal with Garrett Stubbs, man? Do they need their DJ? Now, Garrett Stubbs more than likely will not be part of the playoff roster, I hope. If we're carrying 3 catchers into the playoffs, they need to lose. But what is Garrett Stubbs doing here, man? And it was he the best person to bring up. Justin Crawford could have gotten some valuable reps going down the stretch of this season. Valuable reps. Gabriel Racones has earned an opportunity for at least one at bat at the major league level. Hell, I would have been okay with Andrew Painter getting the call up to get a start or 2 under his belt before the end of the season. Anybody but Garrett Stubbs. I don't see it, man. And I'm starting to think that blackmail, that incriminating pitcher thing, maybe that's a real thing. Because I just cannot wrap my head around Garrett Stubbs. Can anybody? Does anybody want to provide me any kind of inclination of why Garrett Stubbs is on this roster right now, going down the stretch of the season? I'm open. I'll listen to any of your takes on that. I really don't understand, man. I really don't understand. Hi, Ryan. How are you? We're not having conversations. Walker struggled horribly. He did. Wait. I thought he did. JT swung. Come on, Joe. He swung. But in the judgment of the first base umpire, he did not. and that is the proper application of the rule. So you really can't get upset. But I want to hear the Phillies fans out there, because I know the majority of you know he swung. I know you did. The majority of you did. But where is the let's murder the umpire stuff tonight? Where is that? I don't hear it, man. I thought we were all about consistency. They're talking about adding the challenge system in the offseason. It's going to be hard to do that, Joe. One, and this is the major problem, it's got to be ratified into the CBA. All of this stuff has got to be part of the collective bargaining agreement. I don't think they're going to be able to do it until 2027. And that's going to be probably after a work stoppage because of the two sides not being able to get together on the salary cap issue. So I listen, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm telling you that's got to be ratified by both the players union, the league, and then the umpires union. So there's three parties that got to come together and ratify the ABS. And what I was told by somebody in the know, is that the ABS system is not 100%, and that there have been problems with it down at the minor league level. So I'm not telling you I'm not in favor of it. I am. The ABS is going to do absolutely nothing for a check swing. That's not what the ABS is, pitched balls, swung at balls. You know what I mean? It's not going to help them in the check swing department. What they could do with the check swing thing is make it reviewable. They could do that. Make it reviewable so that they can take it to New York and New York can make a decision about it. That might be the middle ground on the check swing issue. But as far as ABS goes, they cannot add ABS unless it's been ratified into the CBA. And I don't think anything new is coming into that CBA. And I think they're holding off until the new CBA. So it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. It's got to go through the union. How many games up are the Brewers on the Phillies? I honestly don't know. We can look at that real quick if you like. So let's take a look at no, I guess that would not be it. Well, as far as what the number 1 seed we're talking about here, well, probably about 5.5, 4.5 games up on the Phillies. Yeah, 4.5. Thoughts on Tim Maze's debut? It was okay. I didn't see it. Wait, Tim Mazza, the prospect pitcher or the kid who pitched today? I didn't know he pitched. I did not know he pitched. What are you talking about? The kid who the Phillies picked up from the Pirates that got dropped? Or are you talking about the prospect Tim Mazza? I didn't see him pitch. If he did, Walker Buehler will be the signing of the year. You know what? Well, when I thought about this the other night when I heard about it, and there's been a lot of people who actually gave me a lot of grief about that last night by saying, "Oh, this is what are they doing?" I think this is a brilliant move. He's got the pedigree of postseason, and that's all this is. It's a postseason move. It's Walker Buehler is not part of the rotation going forward in 2026. No, him, David Robertson, all those guys are not going to be here next year. But this is a stroke of genius by the Phillies to add a guy that's got some and to do it without giving up any assets. It's a win-win for the Phillies, honestly. Do I expect Buehler, especially now without Wheeler? Buehler could be that stabilizing force. Now, is he the number 1? No. Does he come out of the bullpen in the postseason? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But it gives them options. It's going to be interesting to see. He's not had a good year. He's been hit around a lot. His ERA's over 5. They moved him to the bullpen in Boston before they released him. So it's not been a good year for him. Maybe a change of scenery. Maybe a renewed interest in a pennant race gets them going or gets him going. It's a win-win for me. I like it. And you're right. We could be talking that as a signing of the year. Absolutely. 100%. Beta is earned a starting point. again, going through my Phillies roster of 2026 MP, and I started doing that today. I started deleting people. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone. Harrison Bader is my left fielder going forward next year. I don't think the Phillies are going to be able to fix all their offensive problems in one offseason. And, it's going to be hard to do that. But stabilizing that outfield's got to be priority number one. And I think Harrison Bader is going to be that left fielder. I honestly do. I agree. It's like 4.5, something like that. Yeah, I was right, 4.5. The guy they picked up from the Pirates. Yeah, you spelled it all weird. It's spelled that way. Tim Misa. Pitched well. Pitched really well. Pitched like, yeah. So did Robert. Rob should have taken Robert out. Rob shouldn't have taken Robert out. Listen, here's the thing about today's game. And it was interesting that they had with the day off tomorrow, why not stretch your bullpen out? Pitch them all. I kind of agree with that. But Phillies with a big time character win amidst some controversy with umpires again. But again, I don't hear many Phillies fans up in arms about it because we all know that was a swing. 9 out of 10 umpires called that a swing. Unfortunately for the Brewers, the one umpire that didn't call it a swing was the one that counted. And proper application of the rule, folks, it's a judgment call. Now, again, I mentioned ABS, or somebody was talking, I think it was Joe Hale was talking ABS. That's not going to do anything about check swings. Maybe they make check swings reviewable and you can challenge them, perhaps, or maybe even mark the cap, put something up top on the end cap to where that's the indicator. If you're on the bases, if you're a left-hand hitter and you're the third base umpire, or if you're a right-hand hitter and you're the first base umpire, if you see this indicator on the top of the cap, that means he swung. You know what I mean? It's like the point of no return, so to speak. Something those got to be done. I agree. It's too open-ended. It's too judgmental. It's too judgy. But there's got to be a way to reform it. But we go through this every year when it comes to check swings. And again, it's low on the list of things to fix. But there's options, as I mentioned, 2 of them. Make it reviewable or put some sort of indicator on the end cap of a bat that can only be visible when they swing past a certain point. Like big fluorescent orange or green or something like that. Something that stands out that the umpire will see. And the minute the umpire sees that, that's an indicator. He doesn't see it, he didn't swing. You know what I mean? Something like that. Bueller's last 5 games of Boston, he let more than 3. And again, as I said, I think this is just some potential cost-cutting move for the Red Sox. They're not going anywhere. Bueller's not going to be part of what they're doing next year now, and they can't trade him. They probably tried to trade him at deadline. Nobody wanted him, but no, it's a good move for the Phillies, man. Randy Wolf's brother helped us out. Who was Randy Wolf's brother? Was he an umpire? Was that the first base umpire? Randy Wolf's brother? I didn't know that. Dropping the knowledge in the chat tonight, MP. I appreciate that, man. But Phillies 10-8, 80th win of the year. And a very good character. That was Randy Wolf's brother? That's what I'm talking about, man. I want to check that. How did I miss that? Phillies win 10-8. Let's do the other night segment, and then we'll talk some birds and take this bad boy home. So here we go. All right, the other night segment on this Labor Day edition of the Final Word with MattyB on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Still talking Flyers, spotlight players. We are in September, so before this month is over, we'll have Flyers hockey. Granted, it'll be preseason hockey, but it will have hockey. Camp starting soon. Preseason will kick off. Before you know it, you'll be hearing the familiar opening theme of the Clear the Ice program, as we'll be breaking into Flyers post-game shows. Oh, joy. Is it that time already? But we are spotlighting the Flyers and the players that I think, or we think here on the network, that are going to be part of what the Flyers are going to try to accomplish in 25-26. And that is simply not to make history. That's right. Not to make organizational history. And I think that needs to be priority number one. I think Danny B, Keith Jones have the right idea. Boy, is it taking forever. And I'm not certain heading into this season that this team is on paper any better than it was last year or the year before that. We're just hoping for some more progress from some players. But I really hope they look into this whole historical situation that if the Flyers don't make the playoffs this year, that'll be 6 straight seasons of not making the playoffs. That has never happened before in Flyers organizational history. And I don't want it to start this year. And I think you got to do what you can do to get into the goddamn playoffs, man. You can't set that record. I'm sorry. I know it's the rebuild and it's the playoffs is not necessarily what we're looking at here. It's being a Stanley Cup contender. But if you set that record, if you don't make the playoffs for a 6th straight year, I mean, you got to keep people interested in this team. You got to give them something, man. Year 3 of a rebuild, it shouldn't be a hard ask to make the playoffs. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But I hope the Flyers put all their eggs in that basket. And I don't care if they get smoked in the first round by the Panthers or the Bruins or the Lightning. I don't really care. They got to get there just to not set the record. Don't be them. Don't be that team. But tonight, our spotlight continues. We talked to Cam York the other night, and I thought Cam was probably had the worst overall season of any Flyer and needs to have probably the biggest bounce back of any Flyer in order to turn this thing around. And I'm going to go with his running mate tonight on the other side of his D pairing, and that's Mr. Travis Sanheim, who I am, you guys know that I'm not the biggest Howie Roseman guy. Boy, Travis Sanheim comes a close second. I freaked out when they gave him that contract. I don't know what he did to earn that contract. He's got people fooled up and down the pike. I am not a big fan of him offensively, and I am certainly not a big fan of his defensively. I think he's one of the worst players on this team year in and year out. And I don't know what intangible I'm not seeing that apparently everybody else does. But Travis Sanheim, like it or not, and I don't, is going to be the right side of the number 1 D pairing along with Cam York on the left. And Sanheim last season played in all 82 games. Who cares? 8 lousy goals, 22 assists for 30 points and a -6. That's not numbers from and if you compare them with Cam York's numbers, you can honestly see why the Flyers struggled. But there's 2 things about Travis Sanheim that annoy me. Absolutely annoy me. And I invite you this season to put this theory to the test. When you watch a Flyers game, Travis Sanheim has a tendency to get lost in the game. 100%. Every single game I watch, he disappears and gets caught up in the play. The only time I know he's there is when I see the big number 6 on his back staring at me through the TV because he's out of position. He's behind the play. He let a pass go behind him. He let a player in behind him, and he's trying to spin around and quickly get back into position. It happens so many times, and that is the only way that I know Travis Sanheim is playing in that game, because he'll get lost in a game. And I don't know if that's what you're looking for from a number 1 right-handed defenseman, a guy that constantly gets lost into the game flow, and then the only time he is actually noticeable is when you see the big giant number 6 in the back of his jersey staring at you through the TV because he's out of position and he's quickly trying to get back into position. I can't stand this guy. I really don't. I hate him. I don't like him as a player at all. And we're stuck with him because of a terrible contract that Chuck Fletcher gave him. That's got, I think, another 6 or 5 years left on it. And I don't know where else to go with this. But if Travis Sanheim Needs to be better. I'll put it to you that way. I don't know if he can be. I don't know if he's capable of it. He needs to be better. And stop getting lost in the games and stop making me look at your number 6 all the time. So I'm tired of it. So I got nothing. I got nothing about Travis Sanheim. I really don't. Maybe if he was the 4th line guy or the 3rd pairing guy or the 7th defender, I would be okay with him. But we're asking him to be the number 1 right-handed side defenseman. And I just don't think he's that guy. Now, he's got a lot of people fooled. He consistently finds himself onto Team Canada's. He was part of the 4 Nations last year. I don't know what people see in this guy. Maybe Rick Tocchet unlocks it. I don't know. But there you go. Our spotlight player of the night, Travis Sanheim. Not the biggest review. I'm sorry. Wasn't really raving over him. Who makes the playoffs for us? The Flyers. Sixers ain't making the playoffs, I'm sure. The Flyers at least have a chance. Sixers don't got no chance at all, man. I think the Flyers have one more mediocre year until a ton of money opens up. More money opens up, yeah. But then we got to look at the 2026 free agency class, their MP. Listen, there could be, and there was a lot of players available this year in free agency. There was, and the Flyers had money. They could have spent it, but they chose not to because none of the players fit their timeline. I have not deep dived into what or who's available next year, but it could be the same type of situation. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, more money will be available. More contracts fall off next year. Team Canada, I just said that. Yeah, he was on the 4 Nations team. He'd probably be on the Olympic team this winter. I don't know what they see and what I'm not. I really don't. And maybe it was Tortorella. Maybe it was Vigneault before that. I don't know. I can't stand Travis Sanheim. I can't stand him. The funny thing about I'll leave one last point about Sanheim and we'll move on to the Eagles. I think it was the game in Edmonton early in the season last year where Sanheim tried to take the puck coast to coast on a breakout and go in on a breakaway. And this is what happened. And I'll never forget this. Connor McDavid ran him down, stripped the puck from him, turned around, and then he broke down the ice on a breakout. And Travis Sanheim was doing everything he could to try to catch Connor McDavid, and he wasn't successful. I think it was in overtime. Either it was the game in Edmonton or it was the game in Philly. I don't remember, but it was in overtime where Sanheim tried to take the puck coast to coast, 3v3, and score the overtime winner. But McDavid chases him down, takes the puck from him, and then he turns up the ice and just blows past Sanheim. Can't do anything to catch McDavid. And that's Travis Sanheim in a nutshell to me. I'm sorry. Thoughts on Barkley being voted number 1 player by the NFL? Well, based on the season that he had last year, Joe, it's a very applicable decision. There wasn't really offensively a player other than what Saquon Barkley that had the type of season he did. He had a Hall of Fame type of season. It's a slam dunk. Don't forget, it's based on what happened in 2024, right? We're not, you know that, right? It's not potential 2025. It's applicable. I mean, name me, you'd be hard pressed to tell me a player that did not have a better season than him. And if it wasn't so skewed in voting when it comes to quarterbacks and MVP, Saquon Barkley should have been your MVP. 100%. Should bring in old man Lou Lamoriello. I don't like Flyers. I don't like ex-Flyers playing GM. Yeah, I mean, listen. Danny B's honeymoon is over, right? It's over. We got to start seeing something now. We gave him 2 years. I gave him a big old pat on the back because he acknowledged it's a rebuild. No more of this retool aggressively, all that. That's over. Pat him on the back. Okay, now start that process. It's a hard process, and admittedly, from me, I didn't realize how hard it was until about halfway through last season when things weren't working out and things didn't seem to be progressing at all. Then, we got to get rid of the coach because he's making stupid comments about I didn't sign up to coach this type of hockey, whatever. And now you got to go another direction. Now, we still are missing a ton of pieces. All right. The drafts have not yielded what they should be yielding, I think. Now, that's what training camp and preseason for me is going to be very interesting. Do any of the prior draft picks, Bonk, Barkey, Luchenko, any of them, do they any of those former draft picks step it up this camp and make this team? I would be very concerned if none of them do, because that's another year of no draft pick yield. We took Porter Mortone, which was a decent pick at 6. I still think we should have went McQueen, the center, but we didn't. We went winger, and Mortone decided to go to college. So we're not getting any day one help from a top 6 player, which, again, is not unheard of in the NHL. But I thought McQueen would have been a day one contributor, could have been a day one contributor. I think Mortone could have been too, but the two parties decided he would be better suited playing in the NCAA for a year or two. But we're not going to get no yield from him. I don't know who the second line centerman is or the second line left wing. We got a problem at goalie. Say what you want about it. It's a problem. It's not fixed. What are one of the common denominators of all NHL playoff teams? They got a goalie. Somebody that you can pin the tail on the donkey and say, you're my starter. We don't have that. We have a 1A, 1B. That's not going to work for a long-term run. I know there's some prospects warming up in the bullpen. I know we're going to give Zaradin and Bjornsson their chance. Bjornsson first, probably. He'll be in Lehigh Valley. But we're in year 3. And now we're going to, I need to start seeing something now, man. I need to start seeing some progress. The evaluation period is over. We jettisoned Farabee. We jettisoned Frost. Scott Lawton's gone. Got rid of, hopefully, Kovaslov and Fedotov. Right? We've jettisoned some of these players that are not deemed part of the future. Jettisoned John Tortorella. The evaluation period is over. They know who they got. Now it's time to start seeing something from some of these guys. So I need to see something. And if we don't see something, and I guess the definition of what something is, that could be up for interpretation. But I need to see playoffs, man. I need to see playoffs this year. We cannot not make the playoffs for 6 straight years. We cannot not set that record. And that's just one guy's opinion. Be fair, McConnell did 100%. So why is Travis Sanheim trying to, beat him in a foot race or a skate race by trying to go coast to coast? And 2, attempting to catch him going back down the ice. I will 100% agree. But we're paying Travis Sanheim like he's one of the top players in the league. But he doesn't have the sense to know that he's being chased down by Connor McDavid. Dump the puck, pass it back, reset. It's 3v3 overtime. There's a lot of ice out there. Somebody's open. That's my point. I'm not trying to say that he should have outskated Connor McDavid or caught Connor McDavid. But the fact that he put himself into that position in the first place is my issue. Flyers' first 4 games and then the schedule did not. This is so the Flyers get to go to Florida and watch them raise the Stanley Cup banner. Probably get smoked. Then go to Carolina. Maybe they win that game or they force a tie. Then come home and open up their home schedule against the Panthers, and then play the Jets. Yeah, that's not a good schedule. That's a little rough to start the season. I agree. So tomorrow's show with the Eagles preview is going to be live. Yes, it's going to be live with me and Kyle. We will be live. Now, some of the episodes throughout the season might not be live. They may be pre-recorded because, again, and I'm just giving you the forewarn right now, schedules get a little cramped as the season rolls through, and he gets I don't know what he gets. He's pulled. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he's into on his own time, but sometimes he can't make it at all. And I can't make it. So we'll find an obscure time to drop down a recording and then we'll release it. I'm looking at Thursdays at like between 5 and 7. It might be on the earlier side too. It might be like around 5 because Kyle's, again, his schedule is what his schedule is. So, Thursday nights are kind of the night I'm looking at to do this, but me and Kyle will hash that out tomorrow and I'll let you all know. But yes, tomorrow's episode will be live. All right. So we kind of scratched the surface a little bit. Let's get into this now. Eagles, Cowboys, week 1, title defense. All of that starts in a mere 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days or 3 sleeps from now. Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys will throw down at Lincoln Financial Field, kicking off the 2025 NFL season. Bill Belichick. Yes. Did they lose? I heard they were losing. Hi, Matty. What's the talk tonight? Well, we went pretty extensive into the Phillies, talking about a character win. I want to know where all the hang the umpire people are tonight because of a questionable check swing call that went in the favor of the Phillies. I don't hear any up in arms about the umpires because it went in the Phillies' direction. Went over some of the stellar offensive performers, Bader, Marsh, Turner. Talked about Turner's error, how that was an error, not a hit. Went over our spotlight player of the night, Travis Sanheim. Went into a very lengthy conversation about the Flyers. I like that. MP brought it up. MP kept it going, man. That was pretty fun. Down 48-14 in the 4th. Yep, Belichick's Tar Heel debut not going well. And now we're on to the Eagles, Barbara. Final topic of the night. Philadelphia Eagles. And I want to start it off with Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys. I don't know about you guys out there, but I was 100% not in favor of starting the season against Dallas. One, and I'm going to give you my reasons. One, we only have 8 home games. This is the year that we do the 8 home, 9 road. I don't want to waste a divisional game in early September on week 1. I'd rather have that game later on into the season, December timeframe. That's always good Dallas Eagles in Philly time, right? I want to preserve those home games as much as I possibly can against NFC East teams. 2, why would you put the Eagles and Cowboys on week 1? One of the more stoic rivalries in all football, though I believe the rivalry is nothing like it was when I was a kid. And this generation is completely clueless to what this rivalry really was at one time. All praise Buddy Ryan for that. You're kind of wasting this thing because it's week 1. Again, we're in Dallas week. Does anybody know or care? I know Dallas week isn't what it used to be, even when it's during the season. But when you put it at week 1, it just doesn't hit at all. Because we're too wrapped up in talking about previewing the season, talking about what we see, talking about raising the banner. We're too into that to focus on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know there's the focus XO-wise with the Cowboys doesn't seem to be, from a fan standpoint at least, taking the Cowboys seriously. The Micah Parsons stuff, the Cowboys stuff in general, I think that's a mistake. And I'll reveal tomorrow on the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn where I think the Eagles will come out in this game. But I think it's a mistake to kind of, from a fan standpoint, overlook the Cowboys in this game. Because the last time I checked, the Eagles starters haven't played a damn down yet. So whatever you're going to get, it's going to be a very rusty product on both sides of the ball from both teams. So to think that the Eagles, again, are going to step off this or step onto Lincoln Financial Field as an extension of coming off the Superdome turf back in February is foolhardy. It's a whole new season. So to overlook the Cowboys is insignificantly like, no Micah Parsons, the drama, Eagles are going to roll. That's foolhardy. Both these teams are kind of at the same spot right now. We don't know what we're going to get from the Eagles offensively or defensively. We haven't seen the starters play. So to overlook the Cowboys to me and any team week 1 is ridiculous. And just the whole, there could have been more drama involved in an Eagles-Lions opener or a rematch of the NFC divisional game, Eagles-Rams. There could have been more drama with that than Eagles-Cowboys. The Eagle-Cowboy drama is pretty self-sufficient, right? But you got like we all wanted the Eagles-Lions last year. We all begged for an NFC Championship game, Eagles-Lions. I wanted to see that really bad. We may get it this year, we may not. But let's get this. The next best thing would be to have the Eagles and Lions kick this thing off. And you save an NFC East home game for later on in the season. I don't think there should be any divisional games in September at all for anybody. Play out the rest of your schedule in September and October. Make the last 8 weeks of the year nothing but divisional games. That's some football right there. That's that might be a little bit too much, but you know my point. There should be no divisional football games played before Halloween. There you go. Before Halloween. So I get it. I understand it. We're going to raise the banner against the Cowboys. Who cares? Dallas is so far away from the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. The last time they won a Super Bowl, what the hell was it 1996? These Dallas Cowboy fans weren't alive. The players weren't alive. No one cares. I just thought that they missed the mark, man. I really do. It would have been a funner matchup for me to see Eagles-Lions or Eagles-Rams kick off the season. But can't sit here and cry about spilled milk because it's going to be Eagles-Cowboys. And it's Dallas week. And I'm it's missing for me, man. Totally missing the mark. How are you guys feeling about Dallas week? Does it seem right? Breaking news, A.J. Brown is listed in for Thursday. I thought he would be. Matty up, the guy on the MLB Network said JT hit the ball. It would have been a hard line drive. Oh, yeah, it was a damn swing, man. But again, I say the umpire properly applied the rule. It was his judgment that it was not a swing. But where are the Phillies? Because every Phillies fan out there knows it. Barbara, everyone on this chat has said it, or Joe has. Not everyone, but Joe has. That it was a swing. Where is the inconsistent umpire conversation tonight? Does it not exist because it went in the Phillies' favor? Are we anything in this town but consistent? Are we the same as our ball club? Inconsistent. We're only going to say hang the umpire up by his busted Browns when it affects us negatively? Or can we say, please stay consistent? That's why when they come at me with the anti-umpire stuff, it doesn't mean anything to me because they're not consistent about it. But yeah, it was a swing. As I said, luckily I wasn't standing down on first base. Definitely not going to opening game with any juice. Yeah, it's exactly, Barbara. I mean, it's going to be exciting for those that are going to be in attendance. And the excitement's going to fizzle out about midway through the first quarter. Watching them raise the banner. I don't know if they're going to hand out the rings in some sort of ceremony before the game. I think they did that in 2017. I know they got the rings already, but I don't know if they hand them out again. But it's going to be very pompy and circumstancy, and rightfully so. The Eagles deserve their homecoming from the Super Bowl. Game-wise, they haven't gotten it yet. But yeah, it's just missing for me right now. Eagles, Cowboys week 1 just misses. Giants at Washington week 1, also Eagles at Kansas City would have been a good game. Well, the problem is the Eagles cannot do that because the game is in Kansas City. The Eagles have to open up at home because they're the defending Super Bowl champions. That's what they get. So you couldn't have played the Kansas City Chiefs because that game's on the road. Eagles, Rams, Eagles, Lions would have been a better draw for me because both those games are home games this year. You couldn't do Kansas City because Kansas City is on the road, and it has to be at home. That's what the Super Bowl champion gets, and that rightfully so. They get the home opener, the first game of the year. I agree with that, but It just could have been better for me. And right, Washington at the Giants on week 1. Why are you doing this? Matty, the Eagles have never advanced to a Super Bowl if they've had to play even one road playoff game, and that's not good at all. Very good point. Because their journey to Super Bowl 39, their journey to Super Bowl 52 and 59, all were through the confines, or in 57 as well. We're all through the confines of Lincoln Financial Field. Even the journey to Super Bowl 15 was at home. Very good point there, Barbara. Very good point. Did the Eagles put that to the test? All NFC divisional games on Sunday. That's right. Why? Am I the only one that's got a problem with that? Why are you wasting week 1 on divisional games? This is the week that the friggin' Eagles should be playing the Rams, or the Cowboys should be playing Buffalo, or, it should be this obscure game. It should be teams from different parts of the country just getting it out of the way. Save the divisional games for after Halloween. That's when they matter. That second half. That's when it really matters. Matty, you know me. I hate excuses, umpires, referees, injuries. That doesn't apply with me. I agree, Barbara. I do know you like that. So, like it or lump it, Eagles and Cowboys on Thursday night. I'm not going to sit here and boycott the game because it's the Eagles Cowboys. No, of course, I'll be watching just like everybody else. Of course, ready to pounce on every time Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the ball to the middle of the field, or every interception that's thrown, or every blown red zone opportunity. Keeping track of the fourth down, let's go for it situations, just like I do every year. And I am very excited to do that. I'm happy to be back at it. It's football season, right? Nothing like it. It's the gateway to the best time of the year. MLB playoffs, start of the hockey season, basketball, and of course the NFL. So it's very fun time of the year. We say goodbye to summer, unofficially, of course, but we say hello to a whole new world of fun. Why can't we just start the baseball season over? Can't we start the baseball season? Can't this be like game 1 of 2026? That's all I ask for. Eagles are favored by 17. Yeah. Listen, based on the results of last season, but we're going to find out. I don't know how many of you fantasy football players are out there, but I just went through a draft over the weekend, and I received a D from my AI league person in my draft because it was based off of 2024's numbers, right? But I think I got a solid team, and we'll see. But everything is still being based off of 2024. But I hope Eagles Nation, homer and non-homer alike, understand that the minute the Eagles step onto that field on Thursday night, 2024 is over. And this is not 2024 part 2. This is 2025. And we need to treat it like that. We need to treat it like it's a whole new season. We're 0-0. Everybody else is 0-0, and we're the hunted. No one's going to give the Eagles anything. The Eagles aren't sneaking up on anybody this year. And I hope, and I know the team will be ready for that. But I hope the homers and non-homers, Eagle fans alike, are as well. And if you're having a problem kind of conceptualizing that, go back and watch the 2018 season, and you'll snap right out of it, and you'll understand what I mean. But I'm excited. What numbers were sorry, ninth? I think I drafted ninth. I love the fall season. Nice fresh air, lovely different colored trees, plus football and MLB playoffs best time. And don't forget hockey, Barbara. Hockey will be starting here. Flyers training camp starts soon, preseason. By the end of the month, we'll have hockey. I have 9 tomorrow night. Who was your first pick? I went with McCafferty. It's a little bit of a reach. Of course, when McCafferty's playing, he's one of the best in the league, but the problem is he doesn't stay on the field long enough. But I think that was, if I recall, I didn't auto draft it, but he was the next player remaining, the highest remaining. I went with McCaffrey. And then I went with Derrick Henry in my second pick because it was a 10-team league. So I went, second pick, second round. And I went with Derrick Henry with my second pick. And then I went quarterback in the third round. I mean, I defied the rules. And I took Mahomes over Lamar, Jalen, Joe Burrow. I went right down to Mahomes. Wanted Josh Allen. But the guy before me, literally the pick before me, took Josh Allen. I thought I was the only one ballsy enough to go quarterback in the third round. But I wasn't. And I was watching Josh Allen. I was like, I'm going to get him. And they took him right in front of me. So I took Mahomes. Then I went wide receiver in the fourth round, got T. Higgins. I think I went back-to-back wideouts. I'm not sure who I got. I forget. I traded 7-9 and should have stayed at 7 just to take Puka. I stopped playing fantasy football because a couple years ago I had Chase and Jefferson and still didn't make the playoffs. Well, that's not, come on, Barbara. That's not the reason why I stopped playing. I've only won one fantasy championship, and I've been playing since 2002. It's fun. I love it. Especially when players start getting hurt and bye weeks and players are not working out the way you think they're going to work out. Like I stashed away I'm telling you, I have a history of this. I took Kamara his rookie season in like the 11th round when nobody wanted him, and he had a great year. I took Jamar Chase in his rookie season in the 12th round, and he turned out to be all world. I have a tendency to go after some of these rookies. I took Cam Skattebo, who I thought the Eagles should have drafted, the running back out of Arizona State. Took him in like the 13th round, stashed him on my bench. And I took Golden, the wide receiver from Green Bay, in like the 7th round. I'm telling you, I got an eye for some of these rookie breakout players. It's worked for me in the past. I'm betting that it works for me. I don't know if Skattebo's going to be doing much running behind that Giants offensive line, but I love what that guy brings. I think he's a hell of a running back. And I swear to God, the Eagles had the opportunity in the 3rd round to get him, and they passed up. Instead, we're going to go with a running back room of Shipley, AJ Dillon, and friggin' Saquon. But Cam Skattebo, remember that name. Plays for the Giants. Giants took him, I think, in the 4th round. I stashed him away on my bench along with the kid Golden, the wide receiver from Green Bay. So, how do you take Mahomes over Hurts? I don't believe in Hurts. If you take the tush push out of all the equation, what is Hurts doing for you offensively in terms of fantasy production? Throws too many interceptions for me. So Mahomes proves otherwise. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the National Football League. I'm going to go with Mahomes. Now, your better question would have been, how do I take Burrow over Mahomes? Or how do I take Lamar over Mahomes? Or how do I take, who else did I passed up somebody else too. I forget who else I passed up. But those are better questions. And trust me, as I was getting ready to grab Mahomes, one, I was like, why is he so far down the list? And two, I was like, do I not go Joe Burrow? Now, the one year I did take Burrow, he was in and out of the line. It was 2 years ago. He couldn't stay on the field. I'm like, the hell with it. I'm not taking him again. Lamar, I also thought about taking. I was like, oh, and Zay Flowers is my other wide receiver. Zay Flowers and T. Higgins are my starting wide receivers. I thought about Lamar, but again, till Mahomes proves otherwise, I'm going with Mahomes. Matty, do you have NFL Red Zone to keep up with your fantasy players? No, I don't. I just I set it up and then I check it throughout the day. But of course, I'm terrible at that because not so much this time of the year, but when we get deep into the season, when all these game time decisions start becoming a pain in the ass, and if you're not plugged in at around 12:45 every day, and you're like, okay, and you leave somebody in who was not a game, that I don't know how many times I got screwed over by that. I got to do better with that. Mahomes threw 11 picks last year. Hurts threw what? Hurts did not throw 5 interceptions. What are you talking about? Hurts did not throw only 5 interceptions last year. Dude, are you crazy? He threw 5 in like the first 2 games. Hurts 2905 yards passing and 18 touchdown passes below average for fantasy in real football. Yeah. And he doesn't throw the ball in the middle of the field. What keeps his fantasy stock up is the tush push and the rushing yards and the goal line tush push touchdowns. That is what keeps Jalen Hurts a fantasy prospect. I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. All right, let's get to the card review. We've gone well over, but we've had fun. Let's do the card review. All right, MattyB's card review tonight. So how many shows do I got coming up this week? Tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm not sure about Thursday. I'm still toying around with Thursday. Google it. Picks 5. You're wrong. There's no way. Hurts reminds me of high school. He might have thrown 5 picks in the second half of the season. I'll go and look at it, and I'll come back tomorrow night, and we'll have that debate. If it's 5, then it's the most inflated 5 I've ever seen in my entire life. All right, because matter of fact, let me break something out here for you. Because I keep notes, game notes actually. Real quick, and let's do the card review, man, because I want to do the card review. That's right. I started a new book. So let me see. So, maybe he might be right, but I'm thinking that maybe it's. So I got a game here against the Cowboys, which I believe is week 9. Jalen Hurts committed 2 turnovers. Now maybe they were both fumbles, but he committed 2 turnovers. And at that point of the season, which was week 9, Hurts had committed 24 turnovers in the last 31 games. So maybe you got me on maybe it's not interceptions, but he turns the football over epically. So week 9, which was the Cowboys game where they won 34-6, Hurts had committed 2 turnovers. I don't remember what they were, but at that stage of the season, he was 24 turnovers over the last 31 games. So too much for me. Now we know why you love only one finish. Stats-wise, Hurts was one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. It was. You're not right because he's turning the football over. Turnovers count against you in fantasy, regardless if it's a fumble or an interception. Am I right or wrong? So I don't think it's 5 interceptions. I'll take a look at that too. But he turns the football over a lot. All right, let's do the card review. We're going to stay in the modern era, 2024, I believe. We're going to talk about a player who I really like, part of a young core out in Washington. There's 3 of them out there that I'm like in love with. C.J. Abrams, James Wood, and this guy. Listen, Washington Nationals, you can say what you want about their ownership group. They're rebuilding, obviously, trying to be better. And if they add some veteran presence on that team starting next year, like a veteran hitter, a couple of veteran hitters, maybe a couple of veteran pitchers, Washington's going to really start accelerating their turnaround. And it's partly because of one of these young players. Really like what he brings to the table. It reminds me kind of a younger, even though he's not an infielder, he reminds me of a young Chase Utley, the way he hits and the way he approaches the plate. And I speak, of course, Dylan Cruz, and this is his 2024 Topps Stars of Major League Baseball card. Now, this is an insert card from the 2024 Topps series. It's from Series 1, I believe. Yes, it is. And it's his it's not his rookie card per se. It's one of his rookie cards off of the 2024 set. You see the Topps rookie card shield there on the upper left-hand corner. It's the insert card, kind of a holograph type, refractor type card. These cards are somewhat dime a dozens within the top sets as they release them throughout the year. They feature a lot of the up and coming, obviously, stars of Major League Baseball cards. They feature some of those up and coming players. This is Dylan Cruz's card from last year. I got a bunch of these laying around, and I went through, looked at two of the more reputable databases that I use, Market Movers and the other one that I use, which is a Sports Card IMC. And they're sort of kind of all over the place with this card. Market Movers has a PSA 10 recently selling for about $45, whereas IMC had nothing more than a $3 card for this particular version. But it wasn't PSA'd. Now, of course, none of my cards are graded. They're all raw. But I like this version of the Stars of MLB. I like the way Topps worked it in 2024. I got a bunch of these cards with a bunch of different players. And again, Dylan Cruz is a rising star, I think, in this league. Honestly, one of the better players, very good player for the Washington Nationals, along with C.J. Abrams and James Wood. Going to be part of what that team will be in the future. So about a $15 card right now is a PSA 10. Again, a insert, refractor, holographic type card. Pretty smart looking card. So I like what they did with this. This year's Stars of MLB is pretty cool too, the 2020-25 version. But here's last year's, and here it is in its physical form, right here and right here. Again, non-graded. But when I sell my cards, when I attempt to sell them, I should say, non-graded, I kind of go in between a raw and PSA 10 and try to sort of find a number in between, because I want to make sure. I'm not saying I got PSA 10s, but I'm not saying I don't. And I know the grading process has gotten a lot harder these days. So maybe I don't, or maybe I do. I just want to make sure that that the deal is fair across the board. So there's Dylan Cruz, your card review on this fine Labor Day program. That's not what you said. No, you're right. I did say interceptions, but I think you're wrong about the interceptions, but he turns the football over a lot. Take care, MP, man. Good to see you tonight. Matty, they stopped him from throwing the ball. That's why only a few interceptions. Well, it's not. Is it really only 5? I know he turns the ball over a bunch. Hurts is the worst quarterback in the NFL. Jeez. Matty, did you see Skeen's girlfriend, Libby Dunn, new FanDuel commercial? She's in a bathtub. She's cashing in. No, I did not see that. Wow. No, I did not see that. Oh, wait, is it the one where she's like on the 50-yard line or something like that? She's like on the middle of a field somewhere. I think I did see that one. Dang it, brother. Baz puts up a gem on my greedy parlay. What's up, Rusty? How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining us late in the program. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, she's a very pretty girl. I'll give you that. Very pretty girl. Very lucky man, Mr. Paul Skeens, and his $1.1 million rookie auto relic Topps Chrome Update Series card enshrined at PNC Park. But, all right, we are going to wrap it up, folks. Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and your other segments were the topics tonight. Great show to come back off the week. Tomorrow night we'll be back. No football tomorrow. No baseball tomorrow. But we will be here at 7 o'clock. Make sure you're here for the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn Season 6 premiere tomorrow night at 7. We get it going with the quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment. Me and Kyle will kick off your 2025 season, looking at the boys and also looking at the NFL in general. And I cannot wait. One betting memorials and green K's and rolls into what? Huh? Okay, hun. Talk to you tomorrow. We'll see you later, Barbara. Everybody else, have a good night. Make sure you come back tomorrow night for the Birds Blast and all the other great stuff. You guys have an awesome night. We'll see you. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend, and have an even better tomorrow. Take care.